Okay, some more etiquette. Um, this one is going to be some other stuff, but let me go over a couple things that I forgot in the video I just made. Here's another thing: you don't throw yourself in the kitchen. You don't prostrate in the kitchen. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go see my the first etiquette video. Um, you pull somebody to the side if you want to prostrate, throw yourself, and you throw yourself to them there, not in the kitchen. We never do that. Also, there will be people who have, for whatever reason, injuries, health concerns that make them unable to throw themselves. And if you're still the junior, look, the person who you should be throwing yourself to, just let them know that, hey, I can't throw myself, but please give me your blessings, or maybe to someone like that you can make the leaning over iburu boya gesture as a way to compensate for not being able to throw yourself, right? Obviously, if someone doesn't tell you that they're having, if you're a priest, if you're the elder, and someone doesn't tell you that they have surgeries or injuries, and you see them struggling, please lift them. Don't allow them to go all the way down. Be considerate. Say, oh no, don't worry about it, and bless them standing. No need to make people go through a lot. Okay, so now for some new material. Eating at an Orisha function at a formal table has its formalities. First, make sure you understand that if you sit down at a table with priests, whether or not it is a formal ritual table or not, you're sitting there, right? Consider yourself seated. It is considered rude and impolite to get up at will. Okay, so generally speaking, the eldest sitting at the table is the one who gives the authority for anyone to stand up, right? So I'll give you an example. Even in my house, my physical house, where I am the head of my household, if I've invited an elder to my house and they're at my table, even I will look to them and say, hey, may I stand up? Right? You don't stand up frivolously if you don't have to. If you're invited to eat at the table with priests, be mindful. You might have to sit there for a while. Be very mindful of whether or not you can ask questions. See if it's an informal table where you're just talking, everybody's having normal conversation. Don't worry about it. But if you see that an elder has started speaking, and is teaching or is imparting knowledge, don't interrupt. Not even for questions. Wait for a moment of silence. Wait for a lull in the conversation. Go to your elder directly and say, hey, would it be okay to ask a question? Definitely do not interrupt elders in the middle. I mean, you shouldn't interrupt speaking people, period. But definitely at a table with other initiates, you don't interrupt somebody's teaching, speaking, or God forbid, going through an actual ceremony. You don't interrupt. Wait your turn to get up and stand, or to talk. Right? There's a lot of rules. There will be formal tables that, unless you have a certain initiation, you will not be allowed to sit at that table. So don't take that as a personal insult. For example, I am not a drummer. I do not have the formal ceremony for drummers. I am therefore not permitted at a formal drummer's table. There have been instances where the owner of the drum makes an exception and gives you a specific invite. Then that's different, right? Then that by all means is different. You've been invited for that situation, but don't count on it. Don't expect it to happen, right? A lot of these tables have at the end of the meal certain ritual component that you as a non-initiate won't be able to do. So does it make sense for you to sit there, right? So yeah, sometimes it may look weird to the outsider. Hey, why do these guys get a fancy setup at the table and we're all in the back, sitting at eating at a different table or kids' table? But no, things like drums, ifa table, drummer's table, binaldo table. There are certain tables that have certain significance for us, and it has its protocol. So don't expect that. But that's only for formal tables. Again, even an informal table does have some protocol. Another thing I didn't mention in the last video, when two uninitiated people or two people of equal stature, if they want to say hi to each other, they want to salute each other, there's no prostration. It's just really the arms crossing. Then you open up and you get the two-sided hug. Right? Hey, how you doing? Formal. And me, I'm also a big fan of a nice solid handshake, by the way. Ain't nothing wrong with a good handshake. That's just me. To go over that. Okay. Another point of etiquette. If you belong to an Orisha house, as in you have gotten a formal ritual such as the Ileke ceremony or the warriors, or you have a lokun, or you're fully initiated, you excuse me, it's your responsibility every year on the anniversary of your godparents' initiation to visit them and salute the shrine, right? So you'll be in touch with them to know what day they're actually celebrating. Some people only celebrate on the exact date of the anniversary. Some people, like myself, shift it to the weekend just because a lot of people come and it just makes it easier. I shifted to the corresponding weekend. But if you're in the vicinity, let's say you haven't moved out of state, if your godparent is in New York and you're in New York, really, once you've accepted to be part of a house, it's an obligation to attend your godparents' Orisha anniversary on a yearly basis. This is standard. Okay. Not everybody does a big thing, right? Most people, and it's totally fine, will put a small decorative shrine. They'll cook a meal. They'll put fruits and other foods on the shrine. They'll invite people. Maybe they'll just have secular music playing in the background. Maybe some recorded Orisha music. It's not a big to-do. And it's a social event that is also a moment where everybody salutes the Orisha and also congratulates the godparent, right? And by the way, Orisha anniversaries, we also call them birthdays. There's an entire protocol behind that, but that's more for initiates to hear. This is a more generic. So you should be going every single year to your godparents' house. If you're part of the house, right? There's some people who, they got this thing and they lost interest, whatever. I'm obviously not speaking to them. But if you are an active member of the house, your godparents' Osha anniversary should be something that's on your calendar for every year for the rest of their life, right? That's how it should be. Don't forget. Now, there are protocols to when you show up, right? If you are a godchild, if you are an ahijado, you don't ever show up empty-handed to an Ocha anniversary or a birthday, right? In our tradition, that is very, very poor protocol, right? Godparents like me always, I'm always worried what they're going to think if I talk about having to buy things, but what should a godchild should always be bringing for their godparents' Ocha anniversary? 2 coconuts. Two coconuts, 2 candles, and a plate, a white plate, and also a monetary gift. I will go into the monetary gift, and money, right? But the coconut, the candle, the plate, that is a show of respect to the Orisha that is guiding the house, right? That is a show of homage to the spirit, right? The money also is a homage to the spirit, but it's also a gift to the person who's all year round is tending to you spiritually, who answers your calls when you have a bad dream, who when you go over, there's always food for you to eat, there's always a beverage, right? So, for those of you who aren't really involved in the day-to-day running of an Orisha house, of a temple, um, it is very costly. It can be very costly to the leader of a house, and so that little gift that you give, um, it's not going to make up for it, but it helps offset, right? And this is a tradition that goes way back, right? So I don't like telling people what they have to put. Some people can't afford anything, and for me, the fact that they made it that they physically made it in front of Obatala is much more important than anything that could be in an envelope, right? Um, I remember that my godmother lived in Philadelphia, and for a lot of people at that time, most of us didn't have cars, and getting on the Greyhound, just getting to her was in itself an economic, uh, uh, strain, right? You had to put some money in just to physically get there, and you know, but if it's within your means to do so, uh, you know, you give a gift. What should that gift be? That's where it kind of gets. It sounds like being mean or greedy or whatever. But I'm just going to put it out there so you understand, in case your godparent is too modest to say anything. Okay, so we tend to always say something like, a number that is associated with the Orisha the person has crowned, right? So let's say I have Obatala, and and I'll say, okay, so anything that's in a multiple of 8, something like $24 or some other multiple, right? So I say, oh, $24, hey, not bad, right? And it's true, not bad. You put $24 in there, I will be happier than a pig in mud. No problem. I don't need your money. Speaking to you realistically, right? So like, if you go to a Christian church, a Catholic church, they throw that basket around, and they have no problem asking you for that money, right? But it's harder, right? So realistically, $24 was kind of like what they were giving back in 1996, right? Take that information about what you will. I will say this right now: your presence is worth more than any dollar amount that you can put in an envelope. But if you are blessed and you can help your godparent out just a little bit, by all means, put something in there, right? It's like a show of gratitude, right? Don't need it. You know what they're probably going to buy with it? Food for the next time you come. That's the reality. Next time there's a party, you're going to eat good. Guess where that came from? That's the reality. Okay. Speaking of birthdays, let's continue with that. It's not just about showing up and partying and having a great time and drinking beers and stuff like that. If your godparent is having an Ocha birthday celebration, call them in advance. Let them know if they need help setting up. Right? Now, it is true that there can be too many hands in the pot, and too many people will be more of a detriment. But if you show the courtesy of asking, your godparent, even if they don't need you there, they'll know. But really ask with the intent of actually helping, right? Because an Ocha anniversary, especially if it's bigger, 9 times out of 10, it's more for the godchildren than the godparent, right? For the godparent, it's a lot of hard work, right? It's for a chance for the Omoawo to get together in celebration and social and honoring Orisha, and honoring their spiritual leader. But it's also social, and it's a lot of hard work, right? To see how you can, can you help out? Can you set this up? Can you carry some boxes from here to there? Anything. A lot of things have to get done, especially the bigger the celebration, the more help is needed. And some people are very independent and they prefer to do everything by themselves, right? You should know your godparent well. You should feel very free in asking them what kind of help do they need. How should you dress when going to an Orisha function? Now, I will say this: not every Orisha function is formal. Not every time you get invited, it's a formal affair. Okay, but if it is some sort of ceremony going on, anything in a ceremonial context, please do not wear black clothing under any circumstances. Not a black top, not a black bottom. Look, if your godparent calls you over just for a regular dinner and you guys want to sit down and just have a dinner and a beer, that doesn't matter. But if you're going for something that is a ritual purpose, a ceremonial purpose, do not dress in black. I don't know how many times I've had to tell people this. Do not dress in navy blue. What is the reason for not dressing in navy blue? Because under the right lighting, it looks just like black, right? Then you're gonna have somebody tell you, and then you're gonna fight back, and no, it's not black, it's navy blue. And you guys are fighting over technicality. Why are you? Don't dress in dark colors. Don't do it, right? You don't have to dress in light colors all the time, but at least don't dress in black. Bare minimum. Women, ladies, my sisters, have a skirt on you, with you. You can wear a dress, or if you don't want to wear a dress, have one of those skirts with the elastic on them that you can throw on top of your pants once you get in there. Please, if you're in a ritual setting, ladies, please always get into the habit of walking around with a dress in your purse. Yes, bring your big purse to the ceremonies, not the little one, and bring a skirt if it's a ritual, if it's a ceremony, if it's a drumming, right? It is a formality. It is a technicality. There will be instances where even, right, and different people have different cultures, even with, right? We have variation, right? So you'll meet people that will treat Guido drummings, right? Guidos, which are conga drums, a shekere, a bell, right? As a less formal event, even though it's religious in nature. And you'll have people, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes even very experienced people, they'll treat that as a quasi-formal event or a semi-formal event. And the guys will be in shorts, and the ladies will be dressed down, and it's not a big deal. However, I would not, unless the host of that party told you that that's how it's going to be, assume that if it's a ritual, you're wearing pants for guys, skirts for women. And yes, I've seen guys wearing shorts even, in ritual situations. I've seen it. Do I prefer, longer pants, even when it's hot? Maybe a linen pair of pants, but formality. There is a disagreement as to when should we be wearing white. The research appears to be that before the 60s, at any of these larger more formal drum affairs, everybody would show up dressed in white, right? That was just the normal way. Everybody would dress in white. After that, like people who are elders today were still, in 1961, they were still young people, right? They were maybe in their 20s in the 1960s, so they were still young. So then, and so you'll even hear people who are 60 years and older. Sometimes they'll say, no. Back in my day, when you went to this formal drumming, you wore the best outfit you had, right? So I guess back then was it zoot suits? I don't know what were they wearing. Very nice clothing. You went to these formal drums to impress. You wore you wore your Sunday best as opposed to ritual white clothing, right? Again, what you do I would ask the host of the people who invited you, your own elders, how you should be showing up. The people who taught me, the Ocha house I was crowned in, we did not wear white for every single drumming or anything like that, right? Of course, people who showed up in white were considered absolutely fine. It's not like they stuck out. No, we knew why they were dressed in white. It's fine, right? I leave that for every listener to square that off in their individual houses, and to be mindful when you get invited, ask, right? Hey, what's the dress code, right? Never go to any of these things. You know, you shouldn't go to anything, whether it be a drumming or a ceremony, like as if you're gonna hang out a day in the park, right? These are religious events, right? Definitely don't come to a religious event like you're going to the club. You know, a little bit more on the modest side than immodest. Obviously, is better for men and women. Um, but yeah, have I seen plenty of men performing ritual in tank tops? I have. I can't. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. Guys much older than me in initiation. So the clothes do not make the man, but at the same time, again, know your audience. Be mindful of where you're going. So those etiquette things. When you go to a ritual drumming, some etiquette on that. Again, saluting the shrine, important. Don't just go to an Orisha thing and then start socializing and dancing and not think that the shrine isn't important. Now, sometimes there might be a very long line for the shrine and you can't get there at first. Okay, maybe socialize a little bit, wait for the line to get longer. No sense in everybody in a crowded space being on a line. Honor the shrine. Salute the elders, like I explained in the last video, the people who you know to be elders. If you're not sure, ask them. Anyway, if you're at an event and you're not initiated and you have a house, you should be accompanied with an elder, or at least have permission from your own elder to be in somebody else's house. I mean, if you're not, technically nobody owns you. But at the same time, once you belong to a house, you become a reflection of your elder. And if you're going to go to like strange places and not know what to do and behave improperly because you weren't paying attention on etiquette and protocol, and your elder gets a phone call, hey, your godchild was here acting the fool, it doesn't look good, right? And so I do think that some elders are overprotective and over controlling. I think some elders are too lax and don't insinuate. Don't instill a proper protocol in their godchildren. That's why I make these videos, so that you can find the happy medium, and also so that you know the right questions to ask your own godparent. Right? So, okay, another video clocked in at almost 25 minutes. I'll stop it, and if I think of another etiquette video to do before the day is out, I'll do another one. Bye.